Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's Julie Henriquez from Your Ladders, and I'm so glad that you're all in the Muse Mechanics Facebook group. Um, and I'm just checking all the stuff. I haven't done a Facebook Live so far in 2021, so I want to make sure everything goes well. I am delighted to be here and to be talking to you about passion and perfectionism today. My thought for what I want to do in this group moving forward are to sort of combine all the efforts that are part of your ladders and part of what I do, and just check in weekly with some ideas based on a theme. And every month we'll have a theme. So in February, I chose the theme of passion, and I chose that theme for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that it's it's February and Valentine's Day is on the 14th. But it's also Black History Month. It's also winter and time to sort of think about things. It's also a month after the beginning of the new year. And during the new year, a lot of us set goals or decide to pursue something or to think about something. And sometimes those efforts start to peter out in February. So I want to really talk to you about connecting with your passion and thinking about what that means and what that could mean for you. Um, you know, the goal of this Facebook group and the goal of my work with your ladders is to really connect three things around creativity. And that's the magic of creativity, the mindset you need in order to keep going, and the mechanics of how to make it happen. Because too often we expect that the spark of imagination is going to be enough. Or the passion or the wanting to feel that passion, because many of us start our creative journeys, we're first exploring it as somebody who enjoys the work. And then we decide to try to make that work, whether it's writing or painting or acting or directing or, a million other things. And so, we know what good is, and we really, we want to be part of that. And so we feel the sparks of passion that come in. And those sparks of passion are so important and so easily extinguished if you really aren't kind to yourself and you aren't paying attention to what your creative journey is actually needs to be like. So what do I mean by that? Our creative journey, passion certainly is part of a fuel, but understanding the mechanics, how to do something, and what that takes, and really becoming comfortable with the fact that it's going to be rocky. The beginnings of any part of a creative journey are rocky things. So I'm a writer. My first draft is never good. I mean, it gets, some of them are better, some are worse, whatever, but it always needs work. At the beginning of my writing journey, I was frustrated by that, and I thought I was a failure because, you read about people who are all of a sudden, turning in a first draft and getting $1 million contract, but that's not true. It takes work. So understanding the mechanics, how to make it happen, understanding the mindset that keeps you going, and then the magic of creativity. So when we talk too much about mindset mechanics, it sounds dry. But when you want to pursue something in a creative realm, there's magic to that. Something's inspired you. You've been willing to take a leap of faith. You've been willing to think differently about something. And that's such a wonderful, wonderful thing that I don't want to discourage anyone from exploring. And I really want to talk about how some things can get in the way of that spark of passion or that spark of creativity. And today, I'm going to talk about one of the king daddies that get in our way, and that is perfectionism. I don't know about all of you, but I am a forever recovering perfectionist. As I said before, when I first started to write and my first drafts weren't good, I actually sort of resented and resisted doing doing anything more than a short edit, like tearing it apart and putting it back together. And the work that really needs to sometimes be done felt like, oh, but it's never going to be that good. Why should I try? Why should it, why should I explore it? And also, the other challenge for a creative journey is sometimes the work you're doing in your brain is always, or your imagination always is perfect. So this is the journey, right? Is to take what you're imagining and get it into where, however you use your creative energy, and it's never going to be as perfect. You'll have sparks of it, but it's never going to be as perfect as it is in your imagination, because it's just, we're human beings. And so being comfortable with that is part of a creative journey. And when I talk about creative journeys or writing practices, I really am talking about a journey. Finishing something, you know, getting a first draft done, getting a painting done, whatever. Well, those are all rest stops or brief moments on our journey, but the point is the journey. Okay? The point is the exploration. The point is really embracing this passion and living life boldly in effort to find it. That's the point. So, perfectionism, well, you can feel like it's important, and certainly as a receiver of art, we can be, well, that wasn't great, or why did they do this, or we have these perfectionist tendencies, but it gets in your way of passion, and it gets in the way of the passion of creativity. Perfectionism is oftentimes um, fear in disguise, or excuses in disguise. So it's a way that you're letting yourself off the hook from trying. Now, I can't guarantee you that if you pursue a creative journey, you're going to be an expert, or you're even going to be great at it when all is said and done. You could spend years trying to do something and not live up to your expectations, or not have a piece of work that you are realizes the effort you put in. But that's okay. It's the joy of that pursuit that's important. So when we have perfectionism, it's like a little being sitting on our shoulder saying it's never going to be good enough. So you might as well not even try. And why is our subconscious telling us not to try? Because it doesn't want us hurt. It doesn't want us to be disappointed. So it tries to build in excuses or ways for us to avoid being hurt or having any kind of drama around things. And of course, you can listen to that, but in avoiding the pursuit, you are also not allowing yourself the joy of exploration, the joy of discovery, the joy of happy accidents, the joy of figuring stuff out. When you're on a creative journey, two-dimensional sepia tone worlds turn into three dimensions and bright technicolor. And while that's glorious, it's not that it's not always scary. And it's also when we're used to really, really being good at something else in our lives. So perhaps you've been, done something. You're a lawyer and you've been a lawyer forever, or you've, done X, Y, or Z forever, and you're really, really good at it. We expect immediately to jump into a creative journey and have that same level of expertise and ability. And of course, we don't, because we're learning and we're exploring. And also, we need to be unique. Oftentimes, at the beginning of our journeys, we, emulate somebody else, or that's the ideal to which we are measuring ourselves. And that doesn't do any good as well. Years ago, I tried to take up tap dancing, because when I was 11, I think, I read a book called Daddy Longlegs. And my parents let me stay up late one night and watch the movie Daddy Longlegs. And it had Fred Astaire in it. And of course, that started a lifelong love of Fred Astaire. Just love his movies. I'm still to this day, if there's a Fred Astaire movie on, I stop. So part of that, and then falling in love with theater and doing all the things, I wanted to learn how to tap dance, and I immediately expected that I'd be really good at it. And when you start something at 40, you're not going to be good at it. And something like that, it's like you really, not going to be good at it at the beginning. And so I gave it up. And I was talking to somebody a couple of years later, and she said, "Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we expect to be perfect? Why do we not honor, first of all, unique talents and also the years and years and years and years of work that those people put into doing it?" I have a niece who's an incredibly talented visual artist. And, she'll talk to people, or people will say, "Oh, this is great," or "You should do this." And we talked about this because she said, what they don't see is that every day I draw. Every single day I draw, I practice. So I take classes and I do this and I do that, but I also do it every day. I said, absolutely, because that's the pursuit, and that's what it is. We can't let those ideals of perfectionism, especially if we have a competency in another part of our lives, to get in the way of the joy of exploring your passion or developing a passion and exploring creativity. It just doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve the world. By exploring a creative journey, you are opening yourself up, and of course you're opening yourself up to disappointment, but yeah, right? Life can be disappointing. You're also opening yourself up to exploring joy, meeting new people, building a community, looking at an art form that you care about in a completely different light and through a different lens, because you understand what it takes to do it. Understanding that you're a lifelong apprentice, that even when you've done something multiple times, and any of you who are listening to me who've done something multiple times, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When the more you do something, the more, first of all, it's never easy. So again, I'll use writing as an example. I'm doing the copy edits on what will be my ninth book, and then I've got to edit my 10th book, which is due May 1st. It never gets easier writing that first draft of a book. I know what I'm doing now, so I'm less panicked about that. But it's still a lot of work. But I'm so grateful that I'm doing the work, because I know how much joy I'll get in working on this book. Okay? I live in gratitude, and gratitude also helps me get rid of the perfectionism. So I don't, we got another three more of these conversations about passion, and we're going to talk about fear specifically in one of them, and some of the blocks around fear. But I don't want you to measure yourself and your work against something that somebody's been doing for a lifetime, or even friends who are in the same, start at the same time. Don't compare yourself to other people. It's not helpful. If this is your journey, you're very, very unique human being. So don't do that. And also um, don't take your other lives and your other expertise and your other abilities and immediately expect that you're going to become a master. Be humble and grateful to be an apprentice. Okay? Open yourself up to learning. Take classes, talk to people. That's, getting rid of the perfectionism is also saying, how can I do this better? How can I learn? What am I doing? And what a gift that is to you as well. So, as we're talking about passion all this month, and passion in creativity is just something that can center you, that can give you something to look forward to, that can inspire you. Don't let perfectionism dim that passion or extinguish it, even worse. Okay? You're not going to be perfect. I give you permission to be terrible at the beginning. Everything we do on a creative journey, the first time we do it, and also as part of a process, it's very likely that the first iteration that you do is not going to be great, and it's going to get better after work. And that's part of the process and part of what you're going to learn. A first draft, the first, uh, you know, line drawing of a painting, the first rehearsal of a play. I mean, they're none of them good, right? There's sparks and there are moments, and there are those like, oh, I get it. Those magic moments where you tie in it to your muse and you feel like, okay, this is what's possible. But overall, it takes work. That's what a creative journey does. But the journey's the point. Your creativity's the point. The product isn't the point. And really, really allowing yourself to feel the passion for learning, for exploring, and for creating. Don't let perfectionism get in the way. So that's this week. If anyone has anything they want to say, they can. I will also be checking on comments later. I hope you'll join me next Wednesday at 3 o'clock for the next conversation here in Muse Mechanics. If you have any questions about anything, you can message me and I'm happy to talk to you about it. A reminder that for my writing friends, I have the Writing Journey membership, which is a monthly membership where you get, we do 2 write-ins and we do have a group coaching call on the 15th of every month. So for accountability or for help or for, again, hitting those 3, the mechanics and the mindset, and then we can also sort of, brainstorm to get the magic back re-inspired. And the first write-in for February is tomorrow, so there's still time to sign up there. And I also am working on one-on-one clients, and I have a couple more spots there. One of the focuses that I'm working on is life transition. So if you have, you're going through a career change or something's happening and you'd like some support, there you go. Carol, I'm glad that you're here and I'm glad that you got this reminder. So you all just spend some time today letting go of the perfectionist and maybe mapping a plan forward so that you can keep exploring your creativity and exploring the passion of it and feeling the passion, because that's what's important. Again, the product isn't as important. So thank you all for being here, and I will see you next week. Take care now. Bye.